Hello everyone, how are you guys doing today? So I just want to come over here and share with you guys some really important news that I came across on Instagram. And when I read this article, it really got me outraged, and it got my blood boiling, alright? And it will also make your blood boil as well, because you are not gonna like what I'm about to read to you guys. Apple and Google named in U.S. lawsuit over Congolese child cobalt mining deaths. Dell, Microsoft, and Tesla are also among tech firms named in case brought by families of children killed or injured while mining in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And then there's a person that says, I saw the unbearable grief inflicted on families by cobalt mining. I pray for change. And as you can see here, there's a young boy who is probably a preteen. He looks like a preteen, and you see he's having a hard time. Look at him. He's carrying a heavy load on his back. Okay, these children in Africa are literally being exploited. Okay, this is modern day slavery. A landmark legal case has been launched against the world's largest tech companies by Congolese families who say their children were killed or maimed while mining for cobalt used to power smartphones, laptops, electric cars. And that's where many of the materials that are used to make our iPhones, laptops, or whatever, they all come from Africa, okay? I just hope you guys know that. Apple, Google, Dell, Microsoft, and Tesla have been named as defendants in a lawsuit filed in Washington, D.C. by human rights firm International Rights Advocates on behalf of 14 parents and children from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The lawsuit accuses the companies of aiding and abetting in the death and serious injury of children who they claim were working in cobalt mines to supply their chain. This is just really evil and greedy. The families and injured children are seeking damages for forced labor and further compensation for unjust enrichment, negligent supervision, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. It is the first time that any of the tech companies have faced such a legal challenge. Cobalt is essential to power the rechargeable lithium batteries used in millions of products sold by Apple, Google, Dell, Microsoft, and Tesla every year. The insatiable demand for cobalt, driven by desire for cheap handheld technology, has tripled in the past 5 years and is expected to double again by the end of 2020. More than 60% of cobalt originates in the Democratic Republic of Congo, one of the poorest and most unstable countries in the world. You see, Africa, the whole continent of Africa, holds the vast majority of the world's resources, if not all the world's resources, alright? Yet many countries in Africa are really poor, alright? Now, one would say that doesn't make any fucking sense at all. When you have a bunch of non-African nations, when you have a bunch of these heathen nations going to Africa, taking advantage of the resources and exploiting the people there, it all makes sense, alright? The extraction of cobalt from the Democratic Republic of Congo has been linked to human rights abuses, corruption, environmental destruction, and child labor. And this is what's also causing the habitat destruction of gorillas, because all species of gorillas are endangered to critically endangered, which is not good, alright? And it's not just gorillas who are affected by this. It's also African forest elephants, okapis, and many other chimpanzees, and many other exotic animals in Africa that depend on these rainforests. Alright, they've been depending on these rainforests for a very long time, and when these rainforests die out, all of these beloved animals will also die out as well. Alright, and it's no it's no surprise if this has been the cause of the wildfires that also occurred in the Democratic Republic of Congo not so long after the rainforest fires were happening in the Amazon. Alright, this is really, really evil stuff that these heathens are doing. The lawsuit argues that Apple, Google, Dell, Microsoft, and Tesla all aided and abetted the mining companies that profited from the labor of children who were forced to work in dangerous conditions that ultimately led to death and serious injury. See, these companies that many of us patronize and support, they don't give a damn about anyone, okay? All they care about is money, alright? And it's also these fake Jews who own all these companies, alright? It's also some Jews owning these companies, these corporations. The families argue in the claim that their children were working illegally at mines owned by UK mining company Glencore. And you know, these Brits, for the longest time, are some of the most evil and wickedest people on the planet, okay? They've also been one of the many European nations who were involved in the colonization of Africa, and they also slaughtered and caused the genocide of millions of African people. Alright, these Brits are very, very wicked up until now. And as a matter of fact, many of you guys might know this, but Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle, they're going to relocate to Africa, okay? And I hope there's some divine intervention that prevents them from going there, because their asses don't belong there and their asses shouldn't be there. Alright, as a matter of fact, Prince Harry is looking forward to game hunting African animals, okay? Many of which are endangered. Very, very, very wicked, evil, and heartless. The court papers allege that cobalt from the Glencore-owned mines is sold to Amicor, a Brussels-based metal and mining trader, which then sells battery-grade cobalt to Apple, Google, Tesla, Microsoft, and Dell. You see, as you can see here, Africa is still being colonized by these European nations, okay? Africa hasn't really achieved any real independence, okay? Because you also have a lot of African countries who are paying colonial debts to France and are using European currencies, okay? And that's really fucked up. Other plaintiffs in the court documents say they worked at mines owned by a Chinese cobalt firm. I'm not gonna pronounce that because I'm not, like I said, I'm not good at pronouncing Chinese names, okay? Which the lawsuit claims supplies Apple, Dell, and Microsoft, and is likely to supply the other defendants. And you know, these chinks are also very, very, very wicked people, alright? As I've said many times before, they also hate African people while also taking advantage of the resources there, okay? Many of them are relocating to Africa, and because of this overpopulation issue that they're having, but yet they despise African people and they hate them to the core. Alright? They open up these Chinese restaurants in many of these African countries, but only allow Chinese people and not local African people. Okay, that's really fucked up. And new form of fascism. I don't even know if I used the correct label, but for lack of the better word, I'm gonna say fascism, because that's what it is. In the court documents, the Congolese families describe how their children were driven by extreme poverty to work in large mining sites, where they claimed they were paid as low as $2 a day. $2 a day. For backbreaking and dangerous work digging for cobalt rocks with primitive tools in dark underground tunnels. And I bet you they don't even have some sort of lantern or light to guide them in extracting these minerals. The families claimed that some of the children were killed in tunnel collapses while others were paralyzed or suffered life-changing injuries from accidents. This is just really, really, really horrible, pathetic, despicable, detestable, and satanic. It's really awful what these families are going through right now, losing their children just to satisfy the needs and cater to these heathen nations of people who don't deserve these resources at all, okay? These other nations, I hope the time comes where they become third world countries and impoverished so that they can be put in the same shoes and know how it feels like to live in such unsanitary conditions. Alright? And to seek life-threatening work, working in horrible conditions just to survive. Alright? Because they are just, these nations doing this to these poor African children are just so corrupt, greedy, evil, and just extremely demonic. One plaintiff named Jane Doe 1 says in the court papers that her nephew was forced to seek work in the cobalt mines when he was a small child after the family could not continue to pay his $6 monthly school fee. The lawsuit claims that in April last year he was working in the mine operated by Congo Copper Company, which is owned and controlled by Glencore, which is the same corporation that's owned by these wicked-ass Brits. As you've seen in the previous in the previous paragraphs. He was working underground in a tunnel, digging for cobalt rocks, when the tunnel collapsed and he was buried alive. His family say they have never recovered his body. Really, really, really awful. Another child, referred to as John Doe 1, says that he started working in the mines when he was 9. The lawsuit claims that earlier this year he was working as a human mule, okay? Pretty much operating like a horse for Congo Copper Company, carrying bags of cobalt rocks for 75 fucking cents a day when he fell into a tunnel. Look, they're already working in horrible, unsanitary, unethical conditions, yet they're not making enough money. They're not being paid good. Damn, so wicked and corrupt. And it's a sad thing that many of these African leaders in Africa are allowing this to happen to their own people. They care more about pleasing these other nations of people rather than looking out for their own interests of their own people. After he was dragged out of the tunnel by fellow workers, he says he was left alone on the ground at the mining site until his parents heard about the accident and arrived to help him. He is now paralyzed from the chest down and will never walk again. Other families included in the claim say that their children were killed in tunnel collapses or suffered serious injuries such as smashed limbs and broken spines while crawling through tunnels or carrying heavy loads. The families say that none were paid any compensation for the deaths and injuries. One of the central allegations in the lawsuit is that Apple, Google, Dell, Microsoft, and Tesla were aware and had specific knowledge that the cobalt they use in their products is linked to child labor performed in hazardous conditions and were complicit in the forced labor of the children. See, they already know about this. And they still didn't give a damn. That's because they're heartless, okay? They're not human. Nothing but a bunch of devils. Parasites that need to be eradicated off the universe. Because they've been doing nothing in this planet but causing havoc and catastrophe. The families argue in the court papers that all companies named as defendants entered into commercial ventures with the mining companies operating in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and all gained significant financial advantages from the widespread illegal mining of cobalt by children, which continues to enter global supply chains. I mean, look at this. Look at these young children, all of which are preteens. They look like preteens. Haven't entered their teenage years yet, or probably hasn't hit puberty yet. They're still very young, and they're working in these gruesome conditions. Like I said, to satisfy these non-African nations of people who don't deserve anything at all. They don't deserve it. They deserve none of it. They got what they want by stealing, plundering, and exploiting and enslaving. Look, this is nothing more than modern day slavery. And I hate it when teachers in school say that slavery is over and society has progressed so much, has come from a long way from being racially insensitive and segregated. No, the hell not. That's a fucking lie, just to deceive people, especially black people, and to get them desensitized to these kinds of issues even more. The court papers claim that Apple, Dell, Microsoft, Google, and Tesla all have the authority and resources to supervise and regulate their cobalt supply chains, and that their inability to do so contributed to the deaths and injuries suffered by their clients. They shouldn't even have the authority at all, okay? They should have never ever been allowed on the continent of Africa. Who the hell gave them authority? These are pathological murderers. A spokesperson for Glencore said Glencore notes the allegations contained in the U.S. lawsuit filed on December 15, 2019. Glencore supports and respects human rights, yada 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 yada. Glencore's production of cobalt in the Democratic Republic of Congo is a byproduct of our industrial copper production. Glencore's operations in the Democratic Republic of Congo do not purchase or process any artisanally mined ore. Line does not tolerate any form of child force or compulsory labor. Such a damn lie. Apple said, Apple is deeply committed to the responsible sourcing of materials that go in our products. We've led the industry by establishing the strictest standards for our suppliers and are constantly working. I'm so sorry, guys. I can't pronounce words. Right now, I'm just so motherfucking angry. Working to raise the bar for ourselves and the industry. In 2014, we were the first to start mapping our cobalt supply chain to the mine level, and since 2016, we have published a full list of our identified cobalt refiners every year, 100% of which are participating in independent third-party audits. If our refiner is unable or unwilling to meet our standards, they will be removed from our supply chain. We've removed 6 cobalt refiners in 2019. Dell said, Dell Technologies is committed to the responsible sourcing of minerals, which includes upholding the human rights of workers at any tier of our supply chain and treating them with dignity and respect. We have never knowingly sourced operations using any form of involuntary labor, fraudulent recruiting practices, or child labor. We work with suppliers to manage their sourcing programs responsibly. Any supplier with reports of misconduct is investigated, and if misconduct is found, removed from our supply chain. We're currently investigating these allegations and have reformed the Responsible Minerals Initiative as part of their grievance mechanism. Microsoft did not respond to a request for comment, but a spokesperson told the Daily Telegraph, if there is questionable behavior or possible violation by one of our suppliers, we investigate and take action. Yeah, right. Huawei, Google, and Tesla have also been approached for comment. You see, these wicked companies, they're not even commenting, okay? They're not even giving their say on this, because they don't give a damn. Okay, they do not give a damn at all. They're heartless. They don't have any remorse for what they're doing. And if they do apologize, it's all fake. Okay? You see, the only reason why they're doing this now and apologizing is because they've been caught. Alright? And these parents are complaining. But in these years that they've been doing this to these children, they don't give a damn about them, okay? They didn't give a damn what happened to them or if they get killed, alright? But it's just a really, really, really awful thing. It's a really awful thing that African people, especially African children, are being exploited in their own homeland just to serve and satisfy these non-African nations of people who don't deserve these resources at all. Okay, they should be banned from operating in Africa and investing and taking advantage of these resources. Okay, because this is just modern day slavery and colonialism. Okay, these are one of the biggest issues in the world that need more global attention and outrage, okay? And as I've been saying in previous videos, black people all over the world, across the African diaspora, across all 4 corners of the earth, are in psychological, mental, and physical war with these demons, okay? It is time for them to stand up, rise up, and revolt against this, because this is just utterly detestable, ridiculous, and unacceptable, okay? Now, as I have said, there are a good number of conscious black people who are starting to wake up to these issues, but they're still not enough, okay? You still have a lot of black people, especially here in the States, who are getting caught up in so much distractions and foolishness, okay? Now, I have to say this, okay? I have to call it out for what it is, okay? I'm not saying this because I have negative attitudes towards black people, and I'm starting to show that. No, that is not the case at all, okay? Before you all start unsubscribing and making exposing videos about me that I've exposed myself as anti-black. No, I have to call out the foolishness of the black community for what it is, because that is the current condition that black people are in right now, okay? Now, I have refrained from speaking on this whenever I talk about issues that go on in the black community, because as a non-black, I still have my boundaries and limits as to what I can say when speaking on black issues. But I really have to call that for what it is, okay? Because you have black people who are fighting and becoming so desperate to the point of killing other people just to get this no good chicken sandwich that's full of GMOs and is very unhealthy. Okay, they are patronizing these restaurant chains that are not black owned businesses at all. Okay, just to get themselves to the grave at an early age by consuming all these GMO foods. Okay, this chicken craze that's been happening for the past several months with Popeyes and KFC, this is nothing but a social experiment being conducted against black people to breed a generation, to breed future generations of psychotic black people to be like psychotic white people, because their goal is to ultimately destroy the black community, okay? And there are a bunch of foolishness that black people are getting caught up to, such as investing so much time and being obsessed with celebrity gossip like Cardi B. Right, Cardi B ain't even a black woman like she appears to be, okay? She's not a black woman. She's nothing but a culture vulture who got melanin injections to look like a black woman, okay? Cardi B, just like Beyonce, are nothing more than puppets that are being used by this evil system of white supremacy against black people to destroy black people even more, okay? With their ratchet agenda. And this situation going on with Harvey Weinstein and Oprah Winfrey. I don't even pay attention to that at all, okay? Because those are also distractions being done to get black people angered and raise some outrage from the black community, okay? It's nothing but another distraction to distract black people and steer them away from paying attention to bigger issues like this, okay? This is all mind control, mind games that they're playing on black people, okay? Because they know that there's a rising, that there are rising black people who are becoming conscious and awakened to the stuff that's happening in the current and all over the world, okay? Which is why they're pulling this distraction with R. Kelly to get black people outraged that a black man is being roasted while Harvey Weinstein is being allowed to walk in the streets, even though he sexually assaulted many women, okay? Now, I know that's really ridiculous, but it's not surprising to me anymore, because we've all known for a long time that this system of white supremacy, that the U.S. government has always been against black people, okay? Black people have never ever been off the hook, alright? But there are, what I'm saying is, there are much more bigger issues than that, such as this, that black people should be investing their time in, than all these celebrity, social media, nonsense, gossip, and getting crazy over no good fast foods that are gonna kill them. Alright? And another thing black people need to start doing is to get rid of this ratchet culture that's been sold to them by white supremacy, okay? Because black people were never ever ever ratchet people, okay? That is a very destructive lifestyle sold to them by white supremacy to destroy black people even more. Alright? Because there was a time before all of this crap happened where black people were in their own communities. They had their own communities, supporting their own communities and businesses, and circulating their own monies in their own communities, and didn't have to go outside of their communities to support these non-black businesses that hate and despise black people. Alright? But all of that got destroyed by the angry white man because, like I said, these devils hate to see black people succeeding, okay? They have forced black people to go through gentrification and have put black people in these slums and ghettos, which is why black people are currently in the condition that they're in, okay? And along with that, they've been sold a very, very destructive lifestyle, which is, like I just said, the ratchet gangster culture that was never, ever, ever a part of black people, okay? Along with this rap music. From what I heard, rap music was really good to listen to. Now, it's just full with atrocious lyrics and agendas to destroy the black community even more, okay? And the rap industry right now is also owned by these fake Jews, okay? Because they're the very same ones who strip black people of their heritage and enslave them because they hate black people for no motherfucking reason at all, okay? They want to destroy black people. So, like I said, it is about time for black people to wake up, do their research, and realize everything that's been done against them, okay? It's really high time for black people to do away with these destructive lifestyles that are no good for them. Do away with all these destructive lifestyles that are not good for them, and start unifying in mass. Start unifying globally, and put an end to everything that's happening that's being done to wipe them off the universe. All right? Because if black people all over the world start doing that, then these other nations are powerless. Will be powerless against them. Okay? Some black people don't think so. Some people are still so scared, reluctant, and cowardly. But believe it or not, black people make up the vast majority of the world's population. Alright? These devils are not going to tell you that because they want to keep they want to keep you docile, ununified, and divided. But when black people start unifying as a whole, okay, start unifying with each other, everything that's been happening to them, all this mess that's been happening to them will be over in just a matter of seconds. Alright? And as other people have mentioned, if black people in the US altogether stop supporting these businesses that don't give a damn about them, and stop being involved with these sports team that these sports teams and corporations that don't give a damn about them either, then the U.S. economy overnight will collapse. All right, and that really needs to start happening really soon. Okay, it's really high time for black people, like I said, to rise up, cut out with the bullshit and stupidity, and start unifying with each other. Okay, because you've got little children in Africa being exploited and enslaved, all right, to feed these ruthless nations of people, all right, and all of that needs to stop, all right. Now I know the Most High is placing judgment against them with their low birth rates, but black people gotta do their own part, okay, because Elohim can't help you all the time. He only helps those who help themselves, okay? And it's really high time for black people all over the world to start doing that, all right? Anyway, guys, I just wanted to share with you guys this really important news. Don't expect the mainstream media to report on this, because they won't. They don't give a damn about you that way, okay? Which is why we need to ourselves start spreading this information and letting it go viral, okay? We need to rely on ourselves, not these devils, all right, to do the work for us, because you just don't. You just cannot have faith in the devil and expect the devil to be reformed, okay? The devil is the devil, all right? Please, guys, share this with your friends, family members, acquaintances, or whomever. Please let the story go viral. And I will see you guys on the next video. Excuse me.